So, let's have a look and see where everybody finished up last week. Can anybody in the chat tell me whether we're live? I've got the stream going, but I can't see anything. No, it seems like we are. Okay, so let's have a look at the leaderboard. So last time we looked at this was a couple of game weeks back, and Duncan Bailey's still at the top, 463 points. Second, Will White, 440. Ben Parkin and Rob, 433. Salvatore, 431, along with Richard. Jeff and Sam, 430. Richard and John, 425. Barry Morrison, 422. John Maloney, 418. Andrew, 417. And Colin, 415. And when you look at my score, which stands at a very measly 335, it's actually the leader. It's got 38% more points than I have. So work to be done. But fair play to Duncan. He's got off to a good start. 83 points this game week. There's a couple over 100 in there. I've got Richard on 103. Sam on 105. John 102. He's also going well in fantasy cricket, John. And Andrew 100. If I just click on here, we'll see the best scores of the week were Neil 109, Chris 107, Sam and David, Keith, Phil and Brian all 105. So well done everybody there. Let's have a look and see where these points from. We'll go on to the match centres. I'm going to click on to game week 4 so we can see last week's. Let's see if I make this a little bit bigger. It's probably a little bit too big. Get rid of that, move this down a bit. There we go. So first game of last weekend was Southampton 0, Manchester United 3. Just going to go through those that got the max bonuses because there was no time for midweek matchups this week, unfortunately, because I was packing up. So we'll just go through the max bonuses. So for Southampton, the only one with the max was Ramsdale with 7 saves. And for Manchester United, Dalot, 75 passes. I mean, I didn't see the game. Is that something we've got to be aware of? Dalot's getting 75 passes in a game? If he is, then it's something to definitely be aware of. And Rashford, who scored, he got 3 shots on target for a max bonus. The next game was Brighton 0, Ipswich 0. So Dunk and Van Heck, both with max bonus in passing, 83 and 80. And for Ipswich, Muric, max bonus for saves, and Davis and Greaves for tackles. And we just come further down. We've got Palace 2, Leicester 2. That's no max bonuses in that game at all. And then Fulham 1, West Ham 1. So we've got 6 tackles for Robinson. He's a very good asset in this game at 2.9, I think, Fulham. So close to getting a clean sheet as well. West Ham, only 1 player on max bonus was Alvarez with 5 tackles. Liverpool 0, Nottingham Forest 1. So Van Dijk had max bonus with 95. Sells, there's a question coming up on him later on. Max bonus with 5 saves. And Moreno, he's got his starting spot there by the looks of it, at left back on loan from Villa. 7 tackles. Manchester City 2, Brentford 1. So Ederson with 5 saves and an assist. So 8 points all in all. Haaland, 2 goals, so max bonus with 4 shots on target. Flecken, max bonus yet again with 5 saves. Pinnock, max bonus with 6 tackles. Villa 3, Everton 2. Everton 2-0 up again for the second weekend on the trot and still managing to lose. Lots of passes there for Aston Villa, 602 in total. Max bonuses for Torres 106 and Tielemans 126. Bogard had max bonus on tackles with 5. Shots, Rogers 3 and Watkins, who scored twice, 4 shots on target for max bonus. Everton in the tackles was Tarkowski with 5. Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 1. It's good we're not counting up yellow cards. I've been here all night counting those out. So max bonuses was Sanchez, 7 saves and a penalty save, 15 pointer for Sanchez, anybody that's gone there. And then in the passing was Fofana with 87. Seen a couple that had Colwell, only 53. And then the North London derby on Sunday lunchtime. Max bonus, only one player there was Raya with 5 saves. 12 points all in all, is going well, Raya. And then Wolves against Newcastle. We have Wolves 1, Newcastle 2. Max bonus was Mosquera and Gomez for Wolves with 5 tackles each. And then for Newcastle, Hall 79 passes. So Hall and Byrne 79 and 68 passes. I assume they were playing on the left-hand side. I didn't see the game. And then those on the right-hand side, Cher and Livramento, only 59 between them. Livramento did get 5 tackles for max bonus. So we had quite a few questions in. Thanks everybody for sending those in. Those that are in the chat, I can see Windy. Unlucky Windy, I've read your message about using the wrong deadline. Yeah, so Telegraph or TFF app is what we're playing the Cloud FF game on, and you can change your team in Telegraph Fantasy before every kickoff. But obviously in Cloud we follow the old Sky rules, and it's before the first kick of every match day. Poor old Windy brought some players in before the 3 o'clock game. One of those was Van Heck, and he didn't get his points for the day. Unlucky, mate. I'm sure you're not the only person to have done that. And Dave's also in. Thanks very much. And thanks for letting us know we are live. I'll need to bear in mind that the stream that I pick up on is a bit behind the go live. So I'll bear that in mind for next time round. So let's have a look at some questions we had in. So first one was from Mark. Thoughts on Salah to Watkins next week, with Haaland covering Salah for captaincy mostly until late November against Southampton. Okay, let's have a look and see what we can see there. Let's have a look at the fixture ticker. So we're looking for Salah to Watkins to cover Haaland. So we're using the Excel ticker today. I'm going to try and do these in rotation so we can see Google Sheets and Excel. So one clever trick you can do on the fixture calendar is to highlight which teams you want to look at. And in this instance, to look at Salah, Watkins and Haaland, we're going to use Aston Villa and then drag down to Liverpool and Manchester City. Click on there and you only see their fixtures then. So thoughts on Salah to Watkins next week. So let's have a look. So Salah's got Bournemouth tomorrow and then Wolves away next Saturday. Then move to Watkins, obviously Ipswich away. And I remember speaking in pre-season, that looked like a good captaincy day. And then, yeah, so Liverpool and Manchester City play together on the 5th of October, on the 20th of October. They've got different days on the weekend just before Halloween. But Manchester City plays Southampton at home, Salah plays Arsenal away, so you might not want to captain him that day anyway. And then on the 2nd of November, they play together. Liverpool got slightly easier fixture with a home game, but Manchester City going away to Bournemouth is not bad either. Then on the 9th of October, 9th of November, they play on the same day as well. And yeah, it looks like, say, Southampton on the 24th of November might be the first day that Salah looks best for captaincy. So yeah, that might not be a bad shout. I mean, you put some more money in the bank that you could use elsewhere, and then you could maybe look to come off Watkins, make another move at the end of November. The thing that intrigues me there is these 2 days here for Aston Villa, where we've got neither Liverpool nor Manchester City playing. So if I just click that back onto all fixtures, and we'll have a look there at the 6th and the 19th of October and see who's playing. So Sunday the 6th, so we have Aston Villa hosting Manchester United, Brighton hosting Tottenham, and Chelsea hosting Nottingham Forest. So it looks like those that have got a Chelsea player would probably be keen on that player as a captain, but that's certainly not a bad shout there to have Watkins as well. And then if we look on the 19th of October, that's a day where a lot of teams are playing. There's only 3 games not being played, so 7 games on that Saturday. So there's no guarantee that Watkins is going to be the best captain that day, but if you've got him in your side, yeah. I mean, I'm not against that. It's not something I've looked at planning on doing because I've only just brought Salah in myself. Let's see how he gets on in my fixtures. Well, definitely for the Bournemouth game and Wolves. See how things look after that. Yeah, good spot there, Mark. I like that. Tim asked, best replacements for Isak? Possibly. So let's have a look and see what's going on there with Newcastle. So Isak, we're not sure he's going to play, but they do play Fulham away, then got Manchester City at home. Then their fixtures are Everton and then Brighton. Then they move on to Chelsea and Arsenal. So if you're looking to move on, you could say maybe, look, if we definitely find out tomorrow that Isak isn't playing, then you might look at Watkins. They're playing Wolves at home tomorrow, then Ipswich away on the 29th, which could be a captain day. So that could be a good short-term option. Medium-term option, this is something we were looking at on last week's show. I would point you in the direction of Brentford. Tottenham away tomorrow, West Ham, then Wolves, then Manchester United, Ipswich at home, Fulham away, which we found out was a single game day, then Bournemouth, Everton and Leicester all through September, or the rest of September, October and November. And then Mbeumo with Wissa out, I mean, it might detract a bit from Brentford's attacking potential, but it's certainly not going to detract from a different player getting hold of Mbeumo's points. And he's only 3.9 in this game, so he could be one to look to get out on early there, Tim. Let's see what we find out about Isak tomorrow. And we had a question from Colin. Money's to go. Yes, probably. He's in my team, as we'll see later. Best replacement, Van Hecke or another striker? So let's have a look here. If we move across to the data and the charts, I'm just going to point you in the direction here of chart number 9, which is based on points per million. And this is the top 25 players by points per million. On the left-hand side, so you can see here, top of the shop, Van Hecke, 10.71 points per million. Now, he looks to be one of those players that's in sort of the optimal team, as you were. So if you can find a way to get Colin from Muniz to Van Hecke, I would suggest that's something that you would like to do. Another striker, I mean, there are strikers out there, but I would suggest you do want Van Hecke in your side. So if Muniz isn't going to play and Van Hecke is, then you can put him in. Then we had a question from two Davids. Henderson, keep or bin? And same question, the best way to get a decent replacement, assuming low or zero cash in the bank. So let's have a look on the points filter. I'm going to move back to this part here. And I'm going to filter this. I'm going to take out the defender and the midfielder and the striker. So we should only see defenders then. And we see Raya at the top, then Becker and Onana and Sells, Edison, Pope. And I'm just going to point us in the direction of chart number 3. And look at the outlier here. So here is Mr. Henderson, 40% owned, where the next biggest is only 13. And look how far down the list he is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th in the list of keepers. And when there's only 20 in the league, that's none too clever at all, is it? Let's be honest. So, what are we going to do with him? We've only got 40 transfers in the game. He doesn't look like he's cutting any mustard. Do we need to keep him? Can we find somebody of a similar value? Is there a way to move it about? Well, let's have a look at Sells. He is sitting there in 4th place at the minute, 3.2. So a very similar price, only about 10% more than you pay for Henderson. Let's go back to the fixture ticker on the calendar and have a look. So we can see here we've got Crystal Palace. In fact, we can do the same filter here, can't we? Let's have a look here on Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. And I'm going to add one more in here because we can see Brentford. If we look here, if we've got Henderson's got Manchester United, then Everton, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. And they actually play Nottingham Forest on a single game day here. And then Nottingham Forest play Leicester, another single game day. Then move on to West Ham, and they've got Newcastle and Arsenal. We look at Brentford, and I'm going to show you something on the stats in a minute. They play West Ham, Wolves, Manchester United, Ipswich, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton and Leicester. And if we look on the stats screen, just going to move this across again. So we've got this highlighted only on goalkeepers. And I'm going to move across here. These are filtered by tier points and other points. And we look at points against points per 90. And then filtered points, this one we looked at before. And we look here, points per million. And then we have here points per million per 90. The one player that I do want to have a look at is on the tier points. And if we see here, Flecken, 12 tier points already for all of the goalkeepers. And we click this back and we look on this line here. We look here on column S, which is clean sheets, 0 clean sheets. So he's sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8th in the list, no clean sheets, and he's got on save bonuses 12, which is, there's one there on 7, but he's got pretty much double everybody else. So I think reading between the stats, the statistics, the fixtures, the prices, it looks to me like the best keeper is Raya, but you pay 4.3. The best budget keeper at the minute looks to be Flecken. Their fixtures turn, he's 1.1 0.01 more expensive than Henderson, but look how well he's doing. So I think best value keeper in this game is going to turn out to be Flecken. And we had a question from Dave. Thoughts on Monday the 30th? Is it a skip? Are cheap Southampton defenders worth it if they're only likely to get passing? And then Andy commented, I'm skipping at the moment. Don't fancy any Southampton and Bournemouth fixtures, and Bournemouth fixtures quickly sour. Injury the weekend prior might change my mind. So if we go to the tier points here, and then I'm going to filter this by club. I'm just going to take those off, and I'm going to add in Bournemouth and Southampton. Oh, we're still on goalkeeper, so I need to reset that. I do apologise. Let's put those back in. So defenders, midfielders, and strikers. And then go back to tier points. I'm going to filter that again. Just click OK. And that'll bring all of our players in. So as Dave says, those for Southampton defenders, we've got Bednarek and Stevens, who's been sent off, so he won't be scoring many for the next 3 weeks anyway. Top of the tier points there with 11. Look at the other points they've scored though. Bednarek only 5, and that's from 4 games, so he should have had 8 starting points there. So he's lost 3 on goals conceded, and Stevens down to 2. He's obviously lost points on getting sent off. As you can see there, -1 for a yellow card and -3 for getting sent off, and Bednarek -1 for getting sent off. So I would agree, David, if they're not going to get any clean sheet points, and they haven't yet, and is there any reason to think they're going to start at Bournemouth? Probably not. I would suggest it's probably a skip as well. And we go back again and look at the calendar. Do we think that Bournemouth's worth bringing in? Southampton, Leicester, then straight into a run of Arsenal, Villa, Manchester City, Brentford? Probably not. Southampton, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Leicester, and they've got Manchester City as well. So again, probably not. That's better. Thirsty work, all this talking. So, question from John, who is currently riding high in 9th, and he's in the chat as well. Who else have we got here? We've got Tim as well, along with David and Windy. So John asks, what are your thoughts, strategy on transfer patience and giving players longer in your team compared to the old Sky game, e.g. Henderson? Well, John, I think we're still trying to get to the optimal team, but you probably don't want to be bringing a player in and out quickly. I think my thoughts of getting to an optimal team haven't changed. We'll see my moves that I've got planned for this week. I think they're going to be two keepers, well, they won't be goalkeepers, but 2 season keepers, or as long as they stay fit, will be coming into my team this week. But it looks like I might have made a short-term move in error already. Morsey of Ipswich did well in the first 2 weeks, has done nothing apart from get booked in the next 2. So it might be a case that patience is required and don't look at a short-term move. But on the other hand, if you've made a move and it's turned out incorrect, then it might be good to cut your losses, get rid of, move on to someone that you think is going to be a better long-term prospect. With Henderson, I think there's reason to think that Palace will improve. They've got some tricky fixtures. They've got Manchester United, Everton, Liverpool, Forest, Tottenham and Wolves. None of those are particularly easy. It's all a case of, do we think somebody else is going to be an improvement? As I said on the keep section, I think Raya definitely will. It looks like Flecken probably will. And if you can get one in and then you can leave that position untouched for most of the season, that's probably not a bad way to go. Especially in this game with no overhaul and only 40 transfers. I don't think we can use the same logic as we did with Sky with the 50 transfers, and you could use a keeper as like a chain move from one to another for a good single day coverage. I don't think there's the flexibility in transfers to allow us to do that in this game. And John asked another question. Under what circumstances would you make a transfer prior to an international break? E.g. game week 8, Sunday the 6th of October. So I think the only reason I'd make a transfer on that day, John, would be if I didn't have a captain and the player I was bringing in would be a long-term keep. Otherwise, I'd be inclined to take the captaincy points of whoever I had playing. I mean, you never know. Everybody remembers the Fulham game where Polinia was a popular player, but everybody decided they wanted to bring in Mitrovic for the single captaincy. I think it was on a Friday, and Mitrovic did next to nothing. Polinia scored a goal, and those that had not made any moves ended up with about 20 points more as a captain. So that would be my thinking. Normally leave it, but if you didn't have a player and then you wanted somebody for a long term, if we have a look at October the 6th, see who's playing. So we've got Villa against Manchester United, Brighton against Tottenham. So it could be, if I hadn't got to Van Heck by then and my Chelsea player was, say, Palmer, and he got injured, I might say, right, I'm gonna use a move and I'm gonna bring Van Heck in because I'm gonna be keeping him anyway. Just for an example. A question from Dominic. When will Everton not be shit? I'm sure it's fairly tongue-in-cheek. So I know Dom is an Everton fan and he definitely knows that I'm a Liverpool fan. So my answer to that, Dominic, would be probably when they play Liverpool in December. But in all seriousness, Everton, they might have given away a couple of games 3-2, having taken a 2-0 lead, but they've scored some goals. They've got good fixtures coming up. I'm not saying to everybody to dive in and get an Everton player, but they haven't done as badly as you might think. And then final question came from Ross. How do I win? Well, again, on current form, I'd say do the opposite of what I'm doing, Ross. But again, in all seriousness, it's a long game. Get to a team you're happy with and then just tinker around the edges of it. We'll move on to my team now and we'll see what position I'm in and how many I think that are going to stay for the long haul and how many aren't. Let's move along here. So this is where we are currently. My team stands at Henderson, Saliba, Romero, Gvardiol and Robinson. Then in midfield I've got Palmer, Morsey and Bruno G. And up front I've got Haaland, Muniz and Salah. So I've got a couple of moves planned that you can see on the screen there. Now the original planning was to move Guimaraes to Rodri and Muniz to Van Heck. But with Gvardiol not playing last weekend, and does that mean he's not guaranteed to play every game going forward? Maybe there's a move that I can move Rodri in for Gvardiol and then keep Bruno G, who he's sitting about 6th or 7th for the midfielders at the minute, so he's not doing too badly. So that's something I need to weigh up. So my players for Saturday, and we're going to go through the fixtures. I've got Henderson, Romero, Robinson, Palmer, Morsey, Guimaraes, Muniz and Salah. And then currently for Sunday, I have Saliba and Haaland. I've also got Gvardiol, but whether I keep him or not, I'm not sure. So that'll be a decision to make for me on Sunday. And then the reason I've put next Saturday up, because we discussed Morsey, if I do the Gvardiol to Rodri move and the Muniz to Van Heck, I can then do Morsey to Mbeumo next Saturday. The only thing being that takes me up to max budget, which, as we've previously discussed, would leave me sitting there with Henderson still in goal. So, decisions to make. So let's have a look at this week's fixtures then. So the early kickoff on TNT is West Ham v Chelsea. Chelsea, by all accounts, were quite fortunate to get a win last Saturday, and it needed players off the bench to do it for them. West Ham, reasonably good now. I'm going to go for a draw. I think it might be 1-1. Villa against Wolves. I think Villa will probably beat Wolves. They played well at the end of the Everton game last week. They did well in the first half against Young Boys on Tuesday in the Champions League. First Champions League game since 1982, I think, so 42 years. Yeah, I fancy Villa v Wolves. I'm surprised that's not actually a TV game, Midlands Derby, but we know how TNT and Sky like to do these things. Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-0, I think, for Villa. Fulham v Newcastle. I think a lot can depend on whether Isak's going to play. I probably think he might, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Leicester against Everton. I think both teams will score here. Jamie Vardy's been going well for Leicester. Calvert-Lewin's been going well for Everton. So, battle of the old stages. I'm just going to give it to Leicester. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. Liverpool against Bournemouth. Liverpool will be looking to get back on the horse after last Saturday. Pretty terrible play against Nottingham Forest, in all fairness. But I think they will. Not quite sure who's going to play. Salah probably will. See if he gets a couple of goals. I'm going to go for 3-1. Southampton against Ipswich. Probably not a relegation 6-pointer, but neither team have pulled up that many trees. Ipswich has started to improve a little bit. I don't think are they likely to score. Not quite sure. Could be quite dour, that. Maybe I'm going to go for a 0-0. Don't like to predict 0-0s, but I think that might be 0-0. Tottenham against Brentford. I think that'll be quite attacking. Tottenham are under a bit of pressure. Listen to James on his Planet FPL. Does a Wednesday football show with Clayton, and he was saying that if they were going to have a crisis club this week, it would have been Tottenham, but since it was his, he wasn't going to. I think Tottenham, I think they might have too much for Brentford. I'll go for a 2-1 win. Crystal Palace against Manchester United. Manchester United have been playing quite well lately. Ten Hag seems to be getting a tune out of them. Palace, good comeback last week against Leicester, but Manchester United slightly better. Could be a draw, but I'm going to take United to sneak it. Maybe Garnacho off the bench again with a winner. Then on to Super Sunday, and it is a Super Sunday this week. Brighton against Nottingham Forest. I think Nottingham Forest tenacious at the back. Brighton were quite weak in attack against Ipswich last week. Will they have enough? Will Pedro play? I think that might be close again. I'm going to go second 0-0 draw prediction. Manchester City against Arsenal. I mean, early title contenders. I think Arsenal will be happy if they don't lose. Manchester City will probably be keen to win. I think one of the games last year, Arsenal dominated, but Manchester City still snuck a win. I'm going to go for a 1-0 home win. I don't think there'll be much in it, to be fair. So let's see how all that pans out. We'll see how my team goes. Good luck to everybody for the weekend. Hope whatever you're doing, you enjoy. Enjoy a little bit of sunshine if it's out. I'm going to enjoy some rugby. Club rugby's back this weekend. Leicester Tigers play Exeter tomorrow, so I shall be probably channel hopping between that and the Liverpool-Bournemouth game. Thanks everybody for watching. Assuming my mum doesn't need any more help next week, we should be back twice next week with midweek matchups. And it's my anniversary next Friday, so it won't be Friday night live, it'll be Friday night not live, which I shall be getting out early for Patreons. Speaking of which, if anybody wants to use the transfer planner, you can see us on Patreon. It's a Cloudy Sky Fantasy Football Show. Links on there for the Excel one that I've gone through today, and also for the Google Sheets one that we did last week, and we'll go again next week. And a bit of further information on that, I'm doing some more work behind the scenes on the Dream Team Planner. It's a bit more complicated than the Cloud one, but hopefully by the next international break it'll be fully functional and everybody they'll be able to use that as well. So I say thanks very much for watching. If you like what you've seen, leave us a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do. If you want to join us on Patreon, you can find us over there. In the meantime, enjoy the football. Thanks for watching and good luck. Cheers for now. Bye bye.